1 to 11. So I remember reading from Cold Case Detective that Luke explained the background into why like the Simon left his parents, left his family to go to follow Jesus. And I never thought about it before, but now that I read this and I remember my recent book, it makes a lot of sense, and we get the backstory. Why would someone who like met someone that they've never seen before would suddenly leave their whole lifestyle to or whole life and even career to follow Jesus at his what he just says. And now we know the reason why, and that is because one of the boat that Jesus was preaching on was Simon's. Remember, yesterday we already know that Jesus was healing, casting out demons. He went to his hometown. His hometown did not receive him. He went to a neighboring, and he did all this work, and they didn't want him to leave. But he said that he needed to leave because, other cities need him. He needs to preach to other city. That's what he's for. He now go, there's another crowd, he's preaching. He went into Simon's boat. Then now after he finished speaking, then he told Simon, like put it out in deep water and let your nets down for catch. We know at this time Simon is tired. He worked hard all night. He and his crew caught nothing, but he does what Jesus said. And it was so heavy that the boat was sinking. And then Simon saw this, and he recognized the lordship. So it's interesting that Simon has these, or Simon Peter has these little glimpses into Jesus' glory. Like when Jesus asked him later, "Who do you say that I am?" Simon is the one who said that you are from God. You are the Messiah, I believe. And now when Simon just saw like how people wanted to hear Jesus preach, and Jesus knew what he needed without him saying anything, and giving him plenty of cash, he called Jesus Lord, and he knows that he is in the presence of someone holy. He considered himself a sinful man. And amazement seized him and his companion. And then there was James and John, son of Zebedee, who were partnered with Simon. And then Jesus said, "Do not fear." Jesus is like, "No, you're okay with me. From now on, you will be catching people." And I think that's why, maybe at that time, the them seeing all of this like amazing thing about Jesus, they're like, yeah, that's a leader I want to follow. And because of the fish, maybe they think, oh, we're gonna get a lot of monetary advantages also. If not, we're not gonna be hungry at least. And so if I were them and I see all of that with my eyes, I think I would be very persuaded to follow Jesus too. And so that's what they did. They left everything and followed him, but we now know the backstory. And I read the gospel in kind of like distinction before. I just go chapter by chapter and book by book, but really not correlating them until I read the Case for Christ. I mean, not the Cold Case Christianity, where it points this out, because the writer has kind of like a witness. He tests his witnesses. He's a homicide detective, and so he has a very interesting and unique view on these things, and that affected me. And now that I'm reading it through such a lens, is so much richer. Like there are some, as any writer, some things are more important to one person than another person. And so when you're writing something you might write about, but the same event another person might be retold with detail in this area or less detail in that area that you didn't think of to include in your own writing. And I think this is the nature of eyewitness testimony as well as the eyewitness testimonies found in the Bible. And so it's really interesting to see this when reading.